Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Unchained. Now Unchained is a very powerful deck in the meta right now. I'm sure a lot of you have already kind of experimented with it if you have the cards. But for those of you who are kind of curious and don't know too much about the deck, or maybe you want to find some choke points as to how to beat it, I'll go over this with you. The reason I haven't been making this video is because I was kind of trying to get 3 copies of this box. I really wanted to get like 3 copies of every Unchained card so I could build the most possible good deck. But Lyralusk and Windwitch are coming out, and those are 2 of my favorite decks in the entire game. I'm absolutely gonna like get 3 copies of every go of those cards. So whatever box is coming out, it's gonna be a main box. I'm gonna have to go through that 3 times, just like I did with the Effect Veiler box. So it's gonna take forever. So I need to save all the gems that I can. So here is what I've got. I've gone through the box twice, and the deck is still very functional. It's just not quite as consistent as I would like it to be. So here we go. The skill is called Link Dark Rays. It allows you to gain 1500 life points at the beginning of the duel, and then once per turn during your main phase, you choose 1 monster you control. It gains 300 attack until the end of the turn, and 500 attack until the end of the turn if there is a Dark Link monster or a Dark monster and a Link monster on your field and or in your graveyard. So you just make a Dark Link monster, and then from the rest of the game, you can just give one of your monsters 800 attack points. But the real gem is the 1500 life points at the beginning of the duel. It's insane. Okay, so for the main deck, we have Unchained Twins Aruha. This is a level 3 Fiend monster. You can target one monster. You can target one card you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Fiends. Also, destroy the targeted card, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect except itself or by battle, you can special summon 1 Unchained monster from your hand or deck, except Unchained Twins Aruha. You can only use each effect of Unchained Twins Aruha once per turn. So Aruha is your starter. It's a really good card. You're typically going to try and target one of your trap cards with this, and then you can trigger the trap to get some additional resources on the board. It's a good card, and it doesn't use your normal summons, so that you can use your normal summon for other things. You should play this card at 3 if you have it at 3. I don't, but it's a good card. Next up, we have Unchained Twins Rakea. This is a level 3 Water Fiend monster with 1500 and 1500. As a quick effect, you can target one card you control, destroy it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Fiend monsters. So Rakea is interesting. Her effect does not give you any benefit at all. It literally minuses you. But it can be used as a quick effect, which means that you can trigger, your trap cards on your opponent's turn very easily, and you can also, kind of like use it to dodge removal. So if your card would be just removed anyway from the field, especially if it would not be destroyed, like if it would be targeted by, Successor Soul or something, having the card destroyed instead of being targeted and removed from the field is a lot better. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect except its own, or by battle, you can special summon 1 Unchained monster from your hand or deck, except Rakea. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this card allows you to special summon from the deck when it's destroyed, which is really, really good. Rakea is a solid option. I personally don't think this card is worth playing at more than 2. I've seen, lists that have it at 3. It's a consistent good card, but I feel like the other 2 Unchained monsters are better than Rakea. It's just that Rakea is kind of like a card that you need, but I feel like this is the card that you would float into the most. Like, you don't want to normal summon it, and you don't want to special summon it from your hand. So Rakea is the card that you want in your deck to be special summoned by one of your other cards, as opposed to being in your opening hand. So I don't feel like you need 3 of these. Next up, we have Abominable Unchained Soul. Now, this card is definitely good 2 of. 3000 attack, 1500 defense, level 8. You can only special summon Abominable Unchained Soul once per turn. That's really annoying. So if you special summon this card with its own, with a card like your Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, then you can't revive it during the end phase, which is very frustrating. But it would be kind of broken if it could do that. If a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's insane. Very solid effect. You're not often going to have this card in your hand, but when you do, great, it can come out. If this card is special summoned, you can discard 1 card on the field and destroy 1 card on the field. So you don't target, and it can be either player's field. Very, very useful effect. Not targeting means that your opponent will try and remove cards from their side of the field, and then when they do that, to kind of get value, then you can just pop the card that comes out with the value, so pretty solid. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is on the field, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field and sent to this turn, you can special summon this card but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. You know, I mean, floating is pretty good. It's a late float, but still, being able to kind of revive this card as additional extension for your next turn is really, really good. And you need Unchained Soul cards so that you can make your Unchained Soul of Rage. So, yeah, this is a safe 2 of. Next up, we have Unchained Soul of Disaster. This is a level 8 with 0 attack and 3,000 defense points. Gain 300 attack for each Unchained card in your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon one Dark Link monster using only this card you control and that opponent's monster's material. And if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can target one Unchained monster in your graveyard except Unchained Soul of Disaster and special summon it. Okay, so Disaster is really interesting. It does allow you to, as a, you know, on your turn, go into a Link 2 or a Link 3, depending on how powerful your opponent's monsters are. That is really good. The problem is that it can't special summon itself. So it's a very bad card to have in your hand, but it's a very good card to special summon from your deck. So this is a card you want exactly one of. You never want to draw this card. You always want to have this card in your deck so that you can special summon it with other cards. That said, the effect is not a quick effect. It's good to have Unchained Soul cards in your deck so that you can make Rage. And you could also make Anguish if the opponent's monster is a Link 2. Or if you get really lucky, maybe they have a Link 3 monster, and then you can just go right into Abomination. You know, that's... I haven't seen that happen yet. That would be very, very funny. But it's, you know... It's how it is. Alright. Next up, we have Unchained Twins Sarama. Unchained Twins Sarama, you can target one Unchained card in your graveyard except Sarama, set it to your field, then destroy one card you control. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, except by Sarama or by battle, you could special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or deck, except Unchained Twins Sarama. You can only use each effect of Unchained Twins Sarama once per turn. Okay, so Sarama is the card that you normal summon after you have destroyed a card with your Aruha. So let's say that your opening hand is like Prison, Chamber, Aruha, and I don't know, like Needle Ceiling, right? So you activate Prison and you'll draw your Sarama. Then you set your Chamber and you use Aruha to destroy Chamber. Then Aruha comes out, you special summon Soul from your deck. Then you normal summon Sarama, activate Sarama's effect, set Chamber to your field so that you can use its effect during your opponent's turn. Then you'll just destroy your Aruha. Aruha's effect lets you bring out Rakea. Then you link Soul and Sarama into Rage. And then you have Rakea and Unchained is like your secondary forms of interaction. And Rage is your main board breaker. And then you just pass to your opponent. It's pretty good. And then you also have Needle Ceiling because that was the card that you opened. Abomination's Prison, this card is a 3-of. This card is like the best 3-of I've ever seen. So it's obviously like it's a spell card that just is a reinforcement of the army. That's really, really strong. But more importantly, it also says if this set card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your deck, and you can use each effect once per turn. So that means that if you open 2 copies of this card, it's still good for you. Because if you have 2 copies of this card, the first one searches you Aruha, the second one destroys your Aruha to special summon itself, which then summons another monster from your deck. So I have never seen a card that you want to run 3 of more than this. A Rhoda that doesn't brick you if you open 2 of it is absurd. Like, this card needs to be put to... I don't know. This card should be at 1. This card should be at 1, to be honest. That's how good this effect is. It's so insane. Consistency, value. I think Abomination's Prison is probably one of the strongest cards that we've gotten in recent memory. And it's part of the reason why Unchained is so good right now. So definitely a card that you want to run 3 of if you have it. Next up, we have Needle Ceiling. I would probably run 3 of Needle Ceiling if I had 3 of them. When there are 4 mono monsters on the field, destroy all face-up monsters. Pretty solid. That triggers all of your Unchained float effects, and it's nice to be able to clear your opponent's board during their turn. So this card will just catch people off guard. It's the best way to deal with Star Seraphs right now. So yeah, and it's not once per turn either. I still think this card should be limit 3, by the way. Okay. Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. Special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or graveyard. If this set card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the reason why we play 3 copies of Unchained, and Chamber, and Escape is because we need targets for our Aruha. You need to have cards that you can set from your hand that you can destroy that get you value. So play 3 of each of them. It's not hard. Escape. Target one Unchained monster you control and 1 card on the field. Destroy both. So Escape is very weirdly worded. The artwork is interesting, by the way. The artwork is apparently what the twins look like, when they're human. Or no, when they're unmasked. So they're I don't know why it calls them Unchained. Yes, the chains are broken, but they're literally like chained up. But yes, so Escape of the Unchained is them with no masks anymore, I guess. Anyway, the way this card is worded is very odd, because you target a card, and then at the resolution you destroy both cards. That would sound like to me that you could target it and then remove your target, and you would still get to pop the other target. But if you, for some reason, if you activate Escape of the Unchained and then you chain Unchained Soul of Rage, which would be the huge brain play, right? Because then you could link off your Unchained Soul of Rage to make something, and then you would, not lose anything on your side of the board, and then you would get to pop another card in your opponent's field. That's the ideal interaction, in my opinion. But apparently it doesn't work. I've tried to do it before, and it just Escape of the Unchained doesn't resolve if your target removes itself from the field before Escape of the Unchained would go on the stack. So I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't work like that. Still, it's a good card. You just have to make your Anguish first and then pop the Anguish, I guess. If this set card is destroyed by card effect, you set special summon one Unchained monster from the deck. That's obviously, every effect is like that. So this deck is really, really consistent because it just lets you special summon from the deck over and over and over again. Obviously, every deck that can use their deck as their hand is very, very strong in Duel Links, because the main weakness of decks in Duel Links is that they only have 4 cards in their opening hand. This deck gives you closer to 6 or 7 cards in your opening hand, which means that you can make some really solid plays. For the extra deck, we have Dingirsu. You just make this with 2 soul cards. Dingirsu is a good card. Nightmare Unicorn, you can summon this on your opponent's turn with Unchained Soul of Rage. As long as you have a card in your hand, then you can shuffle one of your opponent's cards away. Really, really solid removal. Unchained Abomination requires 2 or more monsters, including a Link monster. Link 4, 3,000 attack points. If a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, except by Unchained Abomination, except during the damage step, you can just target 1 card on the field and destroy it. When another monster is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. During the end phase, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. You can only use each effect of Abomination once per turn. That is 3 different pops. I love this card. I don't care if it's good. I don't care, how powerful this card is. The flavor of just, I am the boss monster of the destroy everything archetype, and I will destroy everything, is so good. It's fantastic. The artwork looks great. The stats are good. We need more Link 4s anyway, so this is a very nice card. You can make it with your Unchained Soul of Anguish. You can even just rip your opponent's Link 3 with Unchained Soul of Disaster. I love this card. It's fantastic. One of them. Unchained Soul of Anguish. Playing this at 2 makes sense because you would just want to both be able to make it Unchained Soul of Rage on turn 1, and then also potentially use your Unchained Soul of Disaster on turn 2 to get into this. You need targets, right? So this is a fine card to play at 2. It requires 2 monsters, including an Unchained Soul monster. Note that the level 3s are twins, they are not souls. So you need to use at least one of the level 8s to make this. Or Rage. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls immediately after this effect resolves. Link summon 1 Dark Link monster except Anguish by using only that monster and this card you control as material. Now, Link 3s cannot be used to make other Link 3s unless there's a Link 2. So you can use Unchained Soul of Anguish and then any of your opponent's cards to go into Unchained Abomination. That is the point. But you cannot go into Nightmare Unicorn unless you have a Link 2 to target. Remember, you can only use Anguish and then another monster your opponent controls. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which is not nearly as good as the float effects of the non-Link Unchained monsters, but they have really good removal, so it's fair that the float effect is not that good. Then we have Unchained Soul of Rage, 3 of, easy, We don't want this to get sniped by our opponent's rocket decks, so we definitely want to have as many copies as possible. This is a bunny, by the way, in case you guys can't tell, this is a bunny rabbit. Unchained Soul of Rage, 2 monsters including an Unchained Soul monster during your opponent's main phase. This is a quick effect. You can target one face-up special summon monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon 1 Dark Link monster except Unchained Soul of Rage by only using that opponent's monster and this card you control as material. Now, if a monster is played to the field by an opponent's skill, that monster is treated as special summon. I don't know why. That's just how the code works. So if your opponent plays one of their Star Seraphs from their deck face down and they flip it face up, guess what? Unchained Soul of Rage can suck it up. So that's really good. If this card on the field is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So your end board is just going to be Unchained Soul of Rage, Rakea, and a trap. Let's go ahead and take a look at replay. Alright, so we're going first against Sharks. Our hand is Rakea, Needle Sealing, and 2 Chambers. Not the most consistent hand I've ever seen, but let's see how we do with it. So we're going to set our Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, then we normal summon Rakea and use its effect to pop the chamber. Chamber's effect, we special summon the Aruha, which was a huge mistake on my part, because I forgot that I needed a soul monster. So I special summoned Aruha. I was going to go into the Link 2, but it requires an Unchained Soul monster, so I should have summoned one of the level 8s. I did not, so we just pass. Opponent's turn. They are going to pitch 2 to use their skill, add Aqua Jet, and then normal summon Buzzsaw Shark. Buzzsaw Shark, special summon the right-hand shark, and then I'm just going to Needle Sealing like I was intending it the entire time. This was totally my play. Anyway, Forbidden Lance on the right-hand shark so that I can't destroy it. No big deal. We just blow everything up. So, Aruha effect, Chain Link 1, Rakea effect, Chain Link 2. We special summon the 2 level 8s, Abominable in attack position and Soul in defense position. Opponent's going to special summon left-hand shark, raise its level, and then exceeds into Abyss Dweller. A little bit late for that. Left and right hand, of course. Now the card can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. Then we'll activate his skill. He's going to add Armored Exceeds to his hand and set the Blackberry Lancer. He flips it up. He discards the Armored Exceeds and exceeds into full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer. He just gets another free rank for Chad. It's fine. That's a fair skill. Then he's going to activate Lemuria, which he got for free from the event. Activate Abyss Dweller now so that I can't use anything from my graveyard. Then he's going to activate his skill to attach a material to one of his guys. Then he raises the attack points of all of his water monsters by another 600, I think. He attacks. He detaches a material to let his guy attack again. And then he's going to attack us directly. And we are at 100. 100, chat. It's fine. I got this. Alright. End phase. We special summon Unchained Soul of Disaster. And now we draw. The opponent is going to activate Abyss Dweller during the draw phase. So, we're still hard countered, You can't use any effects in the graveyard. Okay. We will activate Unchained Soul of Disaster. We're going to link off his indestructible boss monster into the Unchained Soul of Rage. Then we normal summon our Sarama, and we will link the Sarama and the Unchained Soul of Rage into the Unchained Soul of Anguish. Unchained Soul of Anguish's effect, we take his other monster, and we'll link it off into the Unchained Abomination. Now we activate our skill, raise its attack points by 800. We activate the event skill, get another 100 for 4K. There you go, chat. Indestructible boss monster, attacking multiple times. Doesn't matter when you have 5,500 life points. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.